November 9, Dedication of Saint John Lateran. The anniversary of the dedication of the Lateran Basilica, which was erected by the Emperor Constantine, has been observed on this day since the 12th century. This feast was at first observed only in Rome, but later in honor of the Basilica, which is called the Mother Church of Christendom. The celebration was extended to the whole Latin Church. This action was taken as a sign of devotion to and of unity with the chair of Peter, which, as Saint Ignatius of Antioch wrote, presides over the whole assembly of charity. From the Common of the Dedication of a Church, 1600. From a sermon by Saint Caesarius of Arles. We have all been made temples of God through baptism. My fellow Christians, today is the birthday of this church, an occasion for celebration and rejoicing. We, however, ought to be the true and living temples of God. Nevertheless, Christians rightly commemorate this feast of the Church, their mother, for they know that through her they were reborn in the Spirit. At our first birth, we were vessels of God's wrath. Reborn, we became vessels of His mercy. Our first birth brought death to us, but our second restored us to life. Indeed, before our baptism, we were sanctuaries of the devil, but after our baptism, we merited the privilege of being temples of Christ. And if we think more carefully about the meaning of our salvation, we shall realize that we are indeed living and true temples of God. God does not dwell only in structures fashioned by human hands, in homes of wood and stone, but rather He dwells principally in the soul, made according to His own image and fashioned by His own hand. Therefore the Apostle Paul says, "The temple of God is holy, and you are the temple." When Christ came, He banished the devil from our hearts, in order to build in them a temple for Himself. Let us therefore do what He can with His help, so that our evil deeds will not deface the temple. For whoever does evil does injury to Christ. As I said earlier, before Christ redeemed us, we were the house of the devil, but afterward, we merited the privilege of being the house of God. God Himself, in His loving mercy, saw fit to make of us His own home. My fellow Christians, do we wish to celebrate joyfully the birth of this temple? Then let us not destroy the living temples of God in ourselves by works of evil. I shall speak clearly so that all can understand. Whenever we come to church, we must prepare our hearts to be as beautiful as we expect this church to be. Do you wish to find this basilica immaculately clean? Then do not soil your soul with the filth of sins. Do you wish this basilica to be full of light? God too wishes that your soul be not in darkness, but that the light of good works shine in us, so that He who dwells in the heavens will be glorified. Just as you enter this church building, so God wishes to enter into your soul, for He promised, "I shall live in them, and I shall walk the corridors of their hearts." Please like and subscribe.